The absolutely iconic moments between Logan Roy and Kendall Roy in this episode were absolutely golden. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Lifestyle Critic. I hope you're having a brilliant day. So in this video we are going to be reviewing Succession Season 3 Episode 4, which was another really great episode. I mean, it felt a little bit filler and a little bit setup compared to the previous episode, which was super dramatic and super shocking. But you know, that being said, it was really great in terms of progressing the storyline forward, still having a lot of hilarious moments and a lot of all is not as it seems moments. And like I just said, the absolutely brilliant sequences between Logan Roy and Kendall Roy were absolutely awesome. I mean, some of the tension you could definitely cut with a knife, but you can also see the love between these two characters and just what happens to them across this episode. I thought was absolutely wicked, and I'm going to be breaking it all down for you in this episode review. So the main event in this episode is all about getting Logan Roy and Kendall Roy to meet with a key shareholder to prevent him losing confidence in the Waystar Royco company. I mean, there's a lot of orchestrating from a lot of the different characters to convince Kendall to go there in the first place, which obviously makes a lot of sense as obviously he is bitter rivals with all of those members. I did feel a little bit sorry for the Kendall Roy character at points, as he was totally outnumbered in terms of having so many people trying to convince him to go there, and it did feel a little bit like somebody might beat him up or do something to him, but obviously he was able to survive across this episode. But that being said, it was really fascinating, as obviously this meeting is all about preventing this shareholder from losing confidence in the company. However, by the end of this episode, given the fact that the Logan Roy character was suffering from a heat stroke, it obviously backfired, and he did ultimately lose confidence in the Waystar Royco company. But that being said, all of the sequences between Kendall and with Logan were really great. I absolutely loved all of the sequences where we were just looking at these characters just being completely silent, the way in which they tried to have a bit of a relationship both in private as well as in public. I thought it was really great, and it also mirrored some of the sequences that we see in season 1. For example, when the Logan Roy character is very charismatically saying that he is really loving all of his kids, and you also see him repeating this line in particular towards the Kendall Roy character. And also, I don't know if it was true or if it was false, but he did say that he did think that the Kendall Roy character is the best person to eventually take over the company. And obviously across the 3 seasons of the show, we have somewhat seen that the Logan Roy character does actually have a lot of confidence and a lot of faith in Kendall, but he just felt like he lacked that killer instinct. But now obviously the things that he has done from the season 2 finale to today, he has actually shown that he has got that. So now I wonder if he actually does somewhat underneath it all really respect the Kendall character, which I think is so fascinating. I mean, this episode didn't have any explosive showdowns, which it did feel like there was going to be, especially given the setup of this episode, but I'm sure in the future we will see an explosive showdown. I'm sure the company will try to do something against Kendall, which really will have him fighting back, especially from the few clips that we've seen from the trailers. The Roman character was obviously trying to find someone that the Kendall Roy character defaced, with getting him to tattoo his initials on his forehead. I mean, nothing really came of that storyline, but similarly to the papers in the second season storyline, I'm sure this will come back to bite people in the future. We also see that the faith towards Shiv as the president of the company is actually low, and people within the company are actually losing faith towards this character, which I think is really brilliant, as we've seen this character just being so cocky and so full of herself and thinking that she is a brilliant leader, but unfortunately a lot of the other characters don't think that she is. And we also see that the Logan Roy character is really putting her in her place as well. So I feel like this really is true, because obviously this character is pretty inexperienced against all of her siblings, so it really does show that the Kendall character really actually is the best person for the job. And I wonder if this is why the Roman character really does feel like the Kendall character is a lot more threatening towards his position for being a future leader against the Shiv character. Continuing the storyline from the previous episode, we see that the Tom character is still worrying about his potential fate in prison if Logan goes along with his offer to be the new blood sacrifice. I feel like we really still explore the fact that Tom is constantly still feeling emasculated from the Shiv character. And what I did think was really fascinating is how Tom is now feeling somewhat jealous of the Greg character, somebody who he would always abuse and torture, is now somewhat being more powerful than he is, which I think is so mind-blowing from the Tom character's perspective, and I literally cannot wait to see the downward spiral that they're really setting up for the Tom character. For the first 2 seasons of the show, we've always seen that the Connor character is somewhat separate and recluse and having his own separate storylines. However, now we are seeing hints of him wanting to play with the big boys in Waystar Royco, so it's going to be really interesting what they're going to do with Connor and with Logan and with all of the other characters in this world. And I really do feel like they are showing that the Jerry character was the perfect person to be the temporary CEO, as you really see that she is really flourishing in that position. And so I feel like this episode did a really good job in really setting everything up for an absolutely catastrophic downfall. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was absolutely hilarious, like all of the episodes of Succession is. Like I said in the beginning, it did feel a little bit setup and a little bit filler, especially compared to this super explosive and dramatic and brilliant previous episode. And I'm really looking forward to other episodes really being at the same caliber and level as episode 3. But you know, of course, they do need to have a few episodes where they are setting everything up in order to totally throw all of the chess pieces off the chessboard. And I cannot wait to see that happening again in the future. So those are all of my thoughts on the 4th episode of season 3 of Succession. Now I'd love to hear from you, so please let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.